the defense is not running anything tricky in this aspect. We will not be seeing the Symmetra or the Torbjorn instead, but instead we will be seeing more of a default lineup. Sombra on the offense, do you feel like this is a composition that really is worth running?
Sombra so far has not worked out for the EU teams whenever they're running her, but we have seen Complexity, for example, in the past run Sombra on Hollywood specifically a bunch of times just because you can hack that full heal over on the right side in the gift shop, and if your entire team just rotates through there, you build up EMP in about 30 seconds sometimes, so we'll just have to see how it shakes out for them. Otherwise, I just don't think she does the damage necessary to break into a defensive point like this. The fact is that she can get in pretty close, so the Uzi's all right, but then so is Reaper and so is Tracer. So Sombra, I'm not fully sold on her being a point A de facto pick yet.
Yeah, and right now, Nalar on the Soldier, we've seen him do work, and in fact, he woke up very, very strong in the last game. But meanwhile, the side of Pale Goldenrod trying to rotate over the right side. Ung does go down, then he's one Lucio without the AoE heal, and then Animate always gets used as well. But meanwhile, Sombra does get picked off relatively easily by Freed, and now Soto does get the trade. However, it looks like no one's able to deal with ex-ROX and Nalar on this high ground, and they're able to pick them off slowly but surely, and as everyone is able to filter off. And now ex-ROX pushing their advantage. They're trying to stall out Shu and whoever is left in the tank. So yeah, so Sato and Shu will both go down, stalling them out just for us a little longer. That staggered spawn is not what you want if you're on the side of Pale Goldenrod. Pale Goldenrod right now with the EMP available on Ditz potentially could use this to their advantage. They could stop a lot of abilities from being used and prevent a lot of saves from being had.
As the offense kind of files back in here, they do have EMP to work with this time, but they don't have Earth Shatter for a follow-up. That is sometimes what you tend to see them use, but it's just a matter of how Sombra gets positioned. She's actually just going to translocate in and EMP only like 2 targets, so definitely not a great entry for them. Defense, in fact, get 3 kills just off of the Graviton Surge pile-up that they had, so I think defense should be, yeah, that's going to be pretty easy cleanup to hang on again for ex-ROX. And so Pale Goldenrod working with the Sombra, even though they did have the EMP entrance, it didn't really get anything done, so I would expect them to switch. Yep, there goes Reaper right now for Gids instead.
Yeah, and they want to deal with the big tank presence that would be on the point. ex-ROX honestly has a decent amount of ultimates. We have seen the Lar and now Close with the Earth Shatter now available, and he's going to see if he can juke them out, make sure that he baits out like potentially what could be an Earth Shatter from the other side. Drodo has landed a lot of high priority ultimates, so he will also be a potential. And this is just going to be a shield battle right now. Getting your shield down as much as possible will be extremely important. But yeah, Dids in the background doing as much as he can. That Earth Shatter lands on so many members of the ex-ROX squad, and in the background, Pale Goldenrod is doing their best to do as much damage as they can with that advantage that they have. Drodo in the background gets taken down by Dicker because, you know, and Nalar actually, because, you know, he's tried to charge and was punished for that charge move. ex-ROX, however, not able to sustain enough damage on the point. Shu, Dids, and of course Sato able to take that to their advantage, and now they will be able to hopefully convert the point and proceed to the next stage, which is the streets phase. Nalar rocket jumping onto the lift to make sure they get onto the high ground. This is a tough position that Azo ran into before, where they were stopped at the short spawn, but now they have attained the high ground, so they're actually in a relatively dominant position as the payload moves up.
Yeah, they can just fire down from the high ground here. Still rocking that Roadhog with the golden hook all series long. Claws up in the face of Drodo is going to stop the cart right here. Earthshatter snuck past him and actually got 3 kills very quickly off of that. Zarya actually laid flat in the back as well, unable to bubble anybody. So that is going to be a really nice defense there just from that speed up and Earthshatter combo. Worked out perfectly for them. So now we've got Pale Goldenrod on the attack again after ditching a Reaper. They're onto the Genji now for Dids, 3rd character so far in this map.
Yeah, and they're grabbing that surge, cages them still into that first point, and that whole Hog's gonna do a lot of damage. Freeze takes down 2, and now no one else is. Everyone's running back, trying to find some safety wherever they can go, and the only place they can go back to is their spawn, as this first point not able to go through, and Nalar still manages to keep his ultimate and will have that nano boost from Dicker very, very soon. So this is going to be a big problem for them, and Dids in the background able to have his nano boost, hopefully not enough. Yeah, and Nalar just doing so much damage with that tactical visor, spraying down everyone, but however he's not able to do it. Does turn and kills Dids almost immediately, so that is going to be, you know, a huge plus on his side. Close with the shield, trying to do as much as he can, will charge off and take advantage of the fact that, you know, the team has been moving slowly behind him as the side of ex-ROX now regrouping, hoping to regroup their advantage and take this next street phase, and to prevent the capture of this street phase. So they're backing up, looking for high ground.
Props to Soodle on that last fight, actually catching several hooks and actually outlasting very well there as Roadhog. He didn't really have anyone helping him. Lucio was kind of off on his own, and Soodle managed to survive, basically fighting 3 people at different points. So Claus gets the pin in there on Drodo, but the Sound Barrier actually keeps him alive. Earthshatter comes out, does catch a couple of the defense there. Dids with the Nano Blade gets a lot of mileage on that. A couple of kills for him, allows them to get the cleanup they're looking for, and the cart will not stop moving here through the street phase of Hollywood. If they're going to get a last-minute defense, it's going to be right at the end. There's actually no ults for them to work with still. T-Shao gets quite close to a Graviton Surge. Claus could actually generate an Earthshatter here with just one good Fire Strike. So a couple of options for them still, and they're not even pushing the payload actually. They're keeping the payload in kind of an interesting spot before they take this fight.
Oh man, and Sato almost getting another big grab onto the Lucio, onto Ong, right? But now they're pushing Claus back, and now they will have the whole hog up eventually, but he will go down, I think, before that is able to be utilized. But right now, Sar in the background has grabbed the Surge. I think he's gonna let himself die. I think he's just gonna contest the point for just a little more, but he does drop it down in the hopes that maybe his team can follow up on it. And Nalar with a tactical advisor catches out the Ana. Sebastian H goes down, and now he's gonna pin off the Lucio as well. But now he's just fighting Drodo. He's saying, Drodo, come back here. Let me see where you are and try to nail you down as much as possible. Shoot gets taken down as well, and that's a great nano visor. Sorry, that's a great tactical visor with only 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Pale Goldenrod needs to get back on the point, but right now they're just not together as a team, and it might take too long for them to group up.
Yeah, I don't think waiting for Ryan is going to work out for them, actually. I don't think they're going to reach the cart in time. That's a whole hog coming out that's going to repel them easily. Graviton Surge comes out for the attacking team, and Zarya tries to just sneak past everyone, but she catches an Ana nade in the process. No one is going to reach the cart at all, so it's a 0.2 hold there for the ex-ROX squad. They held a really long time there on A. I think 3 of the 4 minutes kind of burned off before they were even able to capture that. So defense looking strong here for the ex-ROX squad. Now flipping it over to the offense. They've had a couple of issues with that in the previous matches, but I think things are looking pretty good for them if they only have to capture the second stretch. And Nalar, of course, coming into huge play again there as Soldier. I think sticking a Soldier is the right idea here. Tracer could actually come into play now that they're on the offense on Hollywood A. Shu bringing out the Symmetra again. Again, we only saw this really work one time, and that was in combination with a Torbjorn. So other than that, Symmetra's basically not even gotten a teleporter to stand for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, this will be very interesting to see if they're able to survive with the single tank composition. Ana has had, her nade changed. Obviously, no longer does, I think, like 100% healing, and now only does 50% additional healing for what she can land it on. So these tank compositions, in my head, I'm thinking they're actually still relatively squishy if you're running a solo healer on it, though. But if you're playing on the side of a Pale Goldenrod right now, what are your objectives? What do you want to see them do to make sure they can full hold this first point?
Symmetra has to survive, but in order for that to happen, you can't just let the team roll in on the first push. So the very first push seems to always kind of make or break the Symmetra compositions. They're going to know that Symmetra's in play. They can already see out the front door, her placing turrets everywhere. So this should not be a surprise. If they can actually get, I would say even just pick Pharah at this point. You know there's a Symmetra, and try and hop over that wall, take some free shots down at her. If you keep her hidden so she can't get any percentage, or you take her out, it's basically just a one fight already.
Yeah, and now we're jumping in to this this first push by the side of of ex-ROX as they're getting in to the game right now. We're gonna jump on with Dicker as he is playing the Ana, and will be a big priority for it. Right now they're just doing the same thing every team does that plays against Symmetra. They're getting rid of all the turrets, stopping them from generating ultimate, as well as stopping them from decaying their health extremely easily. And now they're always going to keep healing up. Claus is still alive, but Drodo taking down Xiao very early on means that like you said before, that push is going to stall out relatively much. They're not going to be able to push. They're waiting for the Zarya to come in. It does not make sense to push this fight 5v6, especially if we don't have that presence. But meanwhile, Shu is slowly building up his ultimate. He's up to 52% currently and will soon probably hit the 70 mark, 75% mark. But right now, he is looking for places to place his turrets, and it looks like they are going to go through Gatorade, which is that top level. They want to be able to, you know, attack the high ground on their end, and the side of Pale Goldenrod is playing relatively safe. They're sinking down. They're not letting their heads be shown, but that huge charge coming in, and it looks like they're all going to contest on this main point. Drodo is just getting separate from the rest of his team. The rest of the team doesn't have the shield to go behind, but Drodo has managed to stay alive, doesn't get picked off by the rest of his team, and instead Close will go down. So this is not good news, and Zoe, yes, he will be able to stay alive with the shield, but unfortunately, he will be caged out from the rest of his team, and it looks like the side of Pale Goldenrod just has to, you know, is able to successfully stall out the aggression from the side of Claws. Soto will get tagged in and will be moved in. Unfortunately, will be healed instead, and Free will be getting the nano boost, trying to do as much damage as he can. So Roadhog versus Roadhog fight against Soto, but Soto just stays alive because he gets that Zarya bubble instead, and Close will be backing off. I don't think he can really push this point any more than he's able to. Shu is locked onto him, and Bashu will be continuing the rest of this fight. It looks like Pale Goldenrod trying to contest the point as much as they can, but the rest of the team is just dying without him. So Close, yes, will charge out with only 83 HP. If he can stay alive, that's a good benefit. He will not get staggered.
Man, that's, I think I just saw Shu get play of the game. They're zapping down 3 people in a row. Also had the teleporter standing. They didn't even have to use all the charges there. Roadhog actually just walked back because the fight was in hand. So 4 charges left on that TP. It should be good to go for this next fight as well. A couple of ults available, Graviton Surge and Earth Shatter both in hand. So it's going to be very difficult to attack in and try to completely take this point. You got to take out that TP completely, and you have to survive these CC ults coming out from the tanks.
Yeah, and Dids with that tactical visor up is trying to find a way to heal up and make sure he's still alive. Graviton Surge catches a lot of people, but that's not the attention that Dids really wants to give. He wants to make sure he gets a clear line of sight with the tactical visor, and he's currently just trapped inside, but freed with the whole hog. Make sure that Graviton Surge does it, and he also cleans up the TP, so there's no answers, no way for them to get back onto the site immediately. Soto gets the pull, but unfortunately will get punished by Freed, who makes sure his teammate stays alive, and now Freed on the side of ex-ROX being able to capture this point, and it looks like it should be able to capture this first point with no issue, and we're pulling through the streets phase. Pale Goldenrod, it looks like they are backing off. They're trying to find a good way to get into an elevator and make sure they're on the top platforms to contest on below. Actually, they're going to be pushing down ground level, and they're pushing very aggressively.
This makes things very interesting because they captured the point 5 seconds slower than a Pale Goldenrod did, so we could see a defense play out very similarly, and this distance could be very, very closely contested. So I'm expecting some overtime heroics from one side or the other, but as it is, Drodo standing his ground up front, keeping the shield pretty high health. You saw that Reinhardt jump past everybody. Claus looking for that Earth Shatter. There he does. Eventually landed on a nano boosted Drodo, and Claus himself gets knocked down, but then the kills are going mostly the way of ex-ROX. Nalar, Deeker, and Claus finding a few kills there. Sebastian in the back as Anna not hitting up his tank, but actually doing some damage. He's not being very good as his tanks fall, so does he. And this part will continue to move. First fight going the way that it has makes things look very dangerous here for Pale Goldenrod.
Yeah, and this is exactly what they want to do with Pale Goldenrod being able to, you know, to not really take advantage of the majority of the fight, but Nalar being so strong still has his tactical visor if they want to line up some shots. And Xiao with that great Graviton Surge is in the backline. They're not even noticing him. That Earthshatter does go down, but keeps everyone together, and there's just no answer for it at all. Sure, Drodo is still alive, but he's charging out of the fight. Wrong direction, man, and Soto gets stopped just as he pops the whole hog, so that's not what you want to see from a player. And now they're going to be able to escort it all the way to the box. It looks like ex-ROX will be taking this first game 1-0. Hollywood is over, and we should be going on to the next map.
Hollywood going firmly the way of ex-ROX. I think point A played out similarly on both sides. Symmetra, I would say Symmetra worked there just because she did actually manage to get a teleporter up and teleport 2 people and get some kills. So I don't think Symmetra is fully to blame, which is unusual here for this Hollywood A defense, but both teams took it in the same amount of time, so ex-ROX just had a much, much better streets phase, and were able to win the game off of just that. Graviton Surge there at the end of the game. Killed basically everything. Drodo, yep, last shot as well. So star play there from Tijao for ex-ROX puts them in a 1-0 lead in the series. This is the winner's match again, so if they can manage to just win one more map here, they will be the winners of Group D and can move safely into the playoffs.
Yeah, and this is honestly pretty cool, and I think that everyone is super excited before this, let me just flip over the team so we don't get confused about who is up in this match. Man, I wish they would just stay static. I wish the teams wouldn't flip over halves.
It's funny because in the lobby they actually don't flip after
Yeah.
control moves.
Yeah, that's interesting.
They do flip for attack defense moves.
Come on, Blizzard, please make my life easier. I'm kidding, but next map choice, it looks like it will be Numbani, and this will be Pale Goldenrod's choice. I want to say Pale Goldenrod did play X Reunited on this map, and they showed very dominantly that they were an extremely strong team on there. However, I would like to point out that it's a difference in composition. ex-ROX is running a more stable composition. They aren't running that dive composition that we did see from X Reunited. So this might be why Pale Goldenrod might, it might be something where Pale Goldenrod probably overperformed due to kind of like the composition. But at the same time, they were so strong on this map. I cannot help but think that they're going to take this back to another game of 3, so it will be up to both of these guys to demonstrate how strong they are. Drodo has been on fire with his Reinhardt ultimate, so it's all going to be about his interaction. Will he be able to beat Close in Reinhardt versus Reinhardt duel? But the rest of this will be on the DPS heroes. Now, Lar, we gave him so much. I gave him so much flack for not showing up in the first few rounds of the King of the Hill map in the last time they played. But he's come alive. He's been such an essential part of it, using his soldier and using his skid scan to his benefit. He's been so strong with there. And of course, this will all be down to see what compositions they really run. We did see Sato run the Roadhog and has been very strong in that aspect. He's been able to hook a lot of high priority targets, but it will be up to whether he can show the consistency in his hooks to make sure that he'll be able to move on.
Yeah, I think Roadhog hooks kind of on both sides have been incredibly valuable. Soodle has been getting the better of Freed if we're just going down to sheer number of, gameplay making hooks. I think Soodle has been making quite a few. So on the other side, T Zhao, actually, his Zarya play has been really, really good, making up for Claus's Reinhardt perhaps a little bit. I feel like Drodo is getting the better of him continuously in the Reinhardt battle, so having a strong Zarya at your back makes up for it quite a bit. ex-ROX showing some really strong Graviton play just in that very last map on Hollywood. Now on Numbani, it does tend to come down to just the opening fight a lot of times. If Winston plus Genji can happen to nail down someone like Ana or Soldier and get them removed from the fight immediately, then it tends to just snowball very quickly. But the side of the defense, they basically just have to have their emergency exits planned out. I see Dids on the Soldier. I saw Ana as well. So they're going to be playing with that Winston go-between to try to run point against any incoming Winstons. But doesn't seem like ex-ROX actually want to go that route just yet.
Yeah, I never want to say that, oh, this is going to be interesting. This Widow is going to be a really strong pick for this one because they always manage to change it. But this composition looks very interesting. They're running that triple support. I can't imagine Ung stays on Mercy, but if they do, that would be surprising, but not a complete crazy happening. Yeah, and it looks like they will be running the Mercy right out the gates. That's interesting. I think they want to go for the res potential here in case they have their in the midst of a winning fight and be able to use that to their advantage. Lar on the Soldier per usual, and we're gonna jump on right now with Ditz, who has the tough task of being the best DPS in the server right now. He needs to be able to take it. Drodo charges, and I think he meant to charge through everyone, but unfortunately didn't really allow that to happen. But right now he's able to take down Dicker. Dicker goes down super low in red health range, and right now they do push off the Reinhardt off of the top of the stage, and Zhao trying to do as much as he can as D.Va, but unfortunately will not be able to get in the face of the Soldier to prevent anything from there. So Pale Goldenrod right now will be cleaning up the rest of the enemies. They'll be chasing. Close trying to get the better of Dids, but Dids able to stay alive in the meantime, and yeah, they will be able to stagger close. So that's a very good first hold for the side of Pale Goldenrod.
The timings were all just very awkward there for the attacking team. The fact that that opening Rhine charge went kind of awkwardly, and D.Va hadn't actually addressed Soldier or Ana yet. I think D.Va was just playing a little cautiously. They stepped out onto the ledge and were just taking tons of fire that they couldn't return back. So they basically just got off to a slow start, and it looked like they weren't really 100% sure where they wanted to send their D.Va. Now coming in for round 2, Drodo does get a pin immediately, but doesn't get the damage for it. Drodo actually just gets slapped right back and falls immediately, but Freed and the Roadhog on the attacking team is down. Lar gets a nano visor to help clear the point here. Not a whole lot to shoot at right now, but it looks like the job is getting done. So both Dids and Sebastian all down now. Offense have an opportunity to take A.
Yeah, and good job on Nalar holding on to that. And also, that was kind of a mistimed ultimate by Drodo. I think he was thinking that he could catch out the Reinhardt just in time. He wouldn't get the shield up. However, he was hardcore punished by that by not getting as many of the people behind the shield as he would have liked. So ex-ROX will use that to the advantage, capturing their first point and advancing. And interesting enough, they still do have the res. So if this next push goes badly, they will have the opportunity to res back up. And this could be a good way to, to junk a lot of the ultimates on the side of Pale Goldenrod. Pale Goldenrod is sitting on 4 ultimates right now, and the likelihood that they use like a tactical visor plus a nano boost is extremely high. So that res could be extremely instrumental, and we'll keep an eye on Ung to make sure he stays alive throughout this entire fight.
Yeah, it's still interesting that they're running Mercy at all, but so far I guess it's been all right. They're 1-1 on fights. D.Va Explosion comes out, does break a shield, but not a whole lot else. The res actually came through, which is kind of interesting just in the state of the fight that they were at, and the spawn being as close as it is. I think they want to get off Mercy. That's the only reasonable explanation, I think. But Aang is actually still there just healing people up, and the fight should go eventually the way of the attacking team.
Yeah, and let's say that res was very, very good actually, even though it looked like they were, I think they were trying to wait for a bigger ult, like I mentioned, with the nano visor, but however, they really didn't need it. I think that using it to res everyone to regain momentum and keep the movement forward is actually more and really important, and she's back up to 50%, so Ung realistically could get another res if they really wanted to wait for it, but on the side of ex-ROX right now, they do only have Nalar with the ultimate, so that's going to be something you have to pay attention to. Freed will now have the whole hog, and man, Diz just takes down Nalar, and Diz is taking a Mopil with his basically nano boosted attack visor, and able to go into the background and sort out this entire matter. And this is kind of where you wish you had that res for, but Ung with 70%. Will stay on Mercy. Looks like he will not be changing off of it. I think that he feels comfortable saying that, hey, we're going to use this res as we need it. Unfortunately, we're side of Pale Goldenrod. They no longer have any ultimates to really follow up. So they are in an equal situation right now, but it's all about which ultimates are being used and how they want to prioritize them.
They did just give up 74% of Mercy ult to switch to Lucio in the end, so Aang is going to actually be on the Speedmeister at the moment, and as they run forward, Drodo's alone on the card. They could try to punish it, but Roadhog is waiting nearby. Soodle at the ready, Dreft also there with some Zarya bubbles. D.Va Suit comes out, pin on Drodo means there's no protection for people behind him, but Drodo is actually the only one to fall from it. Dids actually falls as well, and the attackers on the back of just a couple of ults there, Nano and the D.Va Suit explosion. That's all it took actually to take game E, so 3.5 minutes left on this final stretch. Freed already in position to grab anyone trying to flank past him, and defense, if they're making any switches, it doesn't actually look like it. They're just going to stay on and keep the ult charges that they have for the last stretch.
Yeah, and Nalar looking for that advantage, trying to get some pick off in the back of it. That Earth Shatter does go down, but meanwhile, Nalar is in the background. Will take down Sebastian, so that's one support down, and no one knows where he is. Drodo puts up the shield almost in the wrong direction, trying to block damage from Nalar alone, but instead exposes the rest of his team, and that team kill whistle goes off very early on in this final stage as they push through. They're going to get a significant amount of ground, and it doesn't look like the side of Pale Goldenrod will be able to stabilize in time to prevent it from getting into this home stretch.
Yeah, it's looking pretty rough, and with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left, you think the odds are probably pretty strong here for ex-ROX to finish in general. But as we get the nano boost onto Dids, he's trying to light him up. He finds Aang on that Lucio, so it looks like this push will be thwarted. Zarya's kind of left alone here on the point 3v2 now with Nalar as he falls. So will T Zhao, and that is the end of that push. But 2.5 minutes, probably be burned down to about 2 minutes before they make their real next effort. If they can hold just a couple of times, they do still have potential to win this map, so things aren't too grim yet. It's a matter of hitting this last Graviton surge that's going to determine whether they have a ton of time left or not.
Yeah, and right now they are setting up for quite a few of their ultimates. Nalar was having pretty nutty aim battles currently, and right close does try to go for the charge, but instead gets punished. Freed will take down Drez, so that's no Graviton Surge in the middle of this, and Drez is trying to stay away and trying to stay alive as best he can, and Freed is trying to chase as well, so Freed will probably be going down very recently, but Nalar being able to stay alive in the background, going in and bringing in damage, and this is such an interesting place on that tree place. That Graviton Surge does come in, but Nalar is just outside the boundary, so he forces the sound barrier to come out to make sure everyone's able to stay alive. And yes, on the side, Pale Goldenrod, they are able to fend off this last fight. However, they did burn quite a few ultimates in order to do it. However, they have a good rotation on there. They will also have 4 ultimates for this next fight. So ex-ROX will have to find a way to allocate it correctly. They will have the Graviton Surge in order to group everyone together and potentially set it up for a good, nano boosted either Earth Shatter or either an attack visor. Both of those options are absolutely possible, and if Claus can get one that knocks multiple members of the team down, this could be enough for the final push.
And yeah, I think Nano Visor definitely in store here. Graviton into Nano Visor would be the best, but maybe they can take out T-Jaw before it becomes a problem. No Earth Shatter, counter Earth Shatter actually hits. Just Reinhardt in the front. Soldier actually managed to avoid it. He is going to launch his Tag Visor Assault and find 2 very quickly. Soodle, Drodo, and Shu all down now, and the payload is moving. No one is there to contest it with 43 seconds left, 42 in the end. They will complete their push here. So Pale Goldenrod, I mean, 42 seconds left on the clock is nothing too insane. They can definitely battle back here. If they take a faster point A even, they could just get the ball rolling even better than ex-ROX did. But as it stands, they're not able to make a full hold like we saw against Reunited. Things not working out as easily this time. But as the ex-ROX guys start to luck in their picks, I do hope we see Torbjorn again here to defend.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. I mean, it's always nice to get some of these these different meta champions, these different turret champions into play, see how they really work. But it's all about keeping them alive and making sure you're using the right abilities. And Nalar he's become quickly the man of the match right now. He's been able to use his soldiers to great effect. He's always finding these weird hiding places and basically using his range to really kite around everyone else, and he's been so strong recently. He's the big reason why I think that Dids did get a few good tactical visors off, but Nalar just was able to aim even without the detectable visor, and more importantly, that last push, he just was able to get rid of the shield and get in behind lines and use it to take down all the squishies. So he's definitely in more than capable hands right now as they turn back on defense.
As we get the sides flipped now, I think it's going to be T-Zhao having to hit those money Graviton Surges again. If he can, Claws most likely just going to be holed up in that top hallway, and I wonder if they're worried about Winston. Actually, looks like Pale Goldenrod are not even locking in any kind of dive, no D.Va or Winston, so they're just going to try and muscle through the top left side here where Claus is already positioned. So could be kind of tough to break into this point. Torb turret can be unexpected, especially if it's on the opposite ledge with Soldier and Ana. Can be kind of rough to take all that incoming damage. So they're going to be looking for a kill immediately. They're going to be looking for the pin or a hook to get started once they get crammed in that hallway.
Yeah, and right now they are rushing onto this site, and we're going to check out actually the defense right now. We're going to check out Dicker, who is basically in charge of the healing on this team. He is going to be running the solo here, and they are running the high ground push, and this is very interesting. And Zal takes down Dids almost immediately, and it looks like Drodo trying to go for the big flank, trying to come from behind, not able to convert on it at all, and this is just not looking good for the side of it. But at the side of Pale Goldenrod, they've been pushed up extremely hard right now. They need to regroup and figure out where their next push is going to come from. A big problem that they have right now is they're trying to push the high ground, and if the team on defense is ready for the high ground push, it's so hard to do it by brute force alone.
As we push in through that top hallway now, there's that pin he's looking for, but the Roadhog hooks him out of it. They still manage to get 2 kills there onto ex-ROX. Freed and T-Jaw both down. It's going to hurt their chances of holding quite a lot. Aang and his turret both down as well now. They hop onto the point. Only Reinhardt, who's way out of position as it is of any offense here for the defense as he tries to fight them back. Deeker and Nalar getting hooked down. Not going to last too much longer. So a minute and 15 seconds is a really strong time here to take point A. 5 minutes and a half to get through this next stretch should be more than enough as they continue to press forward here. They don't want defense to set up safely around that bus corner. So everything looking pretty good for Pale Goldenrod on the offense.
Yeah, and this is going to be an interesting push. They have a lot of time to really advance and make sure that they're able to use this to their benefit. And they are putting in quite a lot of damage. Dreft is getting those good damage, those good right clicks in, making sure that they are going to be able to bomb them from afar, generate some more ultimate charge. But however, the side of ex-ROX is playing extremely aggressive right now. They're trying to contest to stop the push from occurring, but Close does get an Earth Shatter off in the background, but Drodo is going to get taken out instead. So meanwhile, this sets up for Nalar with a Tactical Visor, who's just waiting right now, trying to take down the Ana, knowing that his team is going to be strong enough to fight this off, and looks like they will be able to clean out the majority of this fight. So they will stall it out for just a little more, biting away slowly at that 5-minute counter that they originally started with. And Nalar going for the big flank. I wonder if he's going to be able to catch any targets off guard. And for sure, Ditz is not looking in his direction. Meanwhile, trying to drive down the shield. Close, drives in, and does take down Shu. So that means one healer will be down. And Nalar in the background with that Graviton Surge. Sorry, with that Tactical Visor. Doing so much on that big flank, taking everyone down for granted. And meanwhile, Ditz running away slowly, trying to get back to spawn and regroup.
With the lawnmower ultimate there, Nalar and his old man ultimate, along with a nano boost from his old lady friend, able to just cut the grass, so to speak, and kill everything down in front of him. Whole Hog gets popped way in the back. Freed launching that ult for basically nothing, as he just gets kind of 3v1'd over there. But the cart is starting to move again, just from these weird decisions. I don't know, ex-ROX got cocky or what, but they kind of flopped after such a strong hold right before this, and now Nalar all the way back, having to stay behind Claws. They should be able to make a last-second contest attempt here at the checkpoint itself. Yeah, Claws already starting to move forward. They do have a Graviton Surge to work with, but Dreft is going to launch his first. You got the group hug situation where both Gravs are out. The cart will just slide in uncontested as a result, and they get all the kills that they're looking for to get some extra mileage.
Yeah, and this got to be stressful on the side of ex-ROX, and now you have 4 minutes 23 seconds to basically defend this last point. On the positive side, Pale Goldenrod did burn a lot of their ultimates, so you no longer have to worry about that 6 ultimate presence that you had worried about the previous section. Unfortunately though, Claus is going to be under a lot of pressure to hit a good Earthshatter. That way they can clean it up and stop the momentum from developing. Drodo does go into the side, and I think he actually grabs it right by the shield, and now they're just going to go in. Pale Goldenrod using this to their advantage, knowing that, hey, we were able to catch out so many of their opponents, able to kill so many, clear up this entire fight once again. And yeah, they get another team kill horn, and there's not a lot of time that, you know, ex-ROX has to stop this point capture. They need to make sure they get on this point almost immediately, but it's so close right now.
As the cart slides toward the finish line, it's a couple of ults coming out here for the defense to try to stall him out. Freed catches a nano boost on his Roadhog. Diva getting up in the face of these tanks, loses his suit. Freed does actually get pinned, so some of that nano time was lost, and he falls in the end. Offense continuing to push though. They've got 3 standing, and the Graviton Surge will keep them off the cart. 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Very solid stuff there to be able to work with in extra rounds. I think if we're just looking at time alone, Pale Goldenrod, you know, has 3.5 times as much time to work with. Could be pretty rough here for ex-ROX.
Yeah, this is going to be a little stressful. 3 minutes versus that 1 minute timer. And the 1 minute means basically you have to figure out a way to instantly take the point. So I would expect Pale Goldenrod to play relatively safe. They might be going for more for, you know, long range push. They might be looking for things to stall it out. Because, yeah, sure, even if they do manage to capture the point, they have to push the rest of the map in overtime, which is not an easy task by any metric whatsoever. Looks like they will be running, you know, a relatively safe composition. They're running the same thing that I think we've seen before, except Dreft, instead of being on the Winston, will be on the Diva, which I think he's valued because of the ability to minimize nano boost pressure and distance from Nalar or anyone else who will be running that. On the other side, same composition, and it's funny because we haven't seen a lot of Divas around during this tournament so far, but both teams will be running a Diva for this last push, and I guess they're using it for the boost. They're using it for the fact that she's super strong. If she's able to get into the back line, she has a lot of damage potentially, as well as being able to negate a lot of ultimates in addition to that. So hopefully the Diva ends up working out for both sides, but right now, with honestly like not that much time left on the clock, it's going to be up to the side of ex-ROX to really push all the way through.
Yeah, well, they do have a Roadhog who's always got that instant kill potential. They've got Reinhardt leading the charge, who can always find a pin to start things off on the right foot, but it's really up to the Roadhogs. The Roadhogs and the Ryans just battling it out in the beginning as they kind of push in here. Drodo misses his pin. Claw still has some barrier to work with, but he's getting cornered as well. He's going to fall first, and that is not great for the offense. However, Freed finds the hook kill onto Dreft, which is, you know, really great picking up a Zarya kill like that, and will allow them to move on to the ledge, try and keep this fight going. Diva loses her suit and her light though, and ex-ROX are starting to fall very quickly now. Nalar and Deeker are just going to back out and try to head back to spawn.
Yeah, and I mean, doesn't look like he has enough time for this right now. With 13 seconds left of the clock, they need to push now, even to get close. And Drodo with the Earth Shatter right there is going to be, I think, back on the point just in time, actually. So we're going to keep track of him as he charges it, and he charges right into the wall right there. That's not exactly what you want. But Sato does take down Nalar, and that's going to be huge on their end. Yes, that Earth Shatter does catch off 2 people, so Freed will be going down. And yes, the Nano Boost may have been used, but Sato right now on the side of Pale Goldenrod with the whole hog, pushing people off of the point, trying to stop overtime from occurring. Dicker, yes, will be getting the kill, but he lost the war at the end of the day. They're going to get full held with only 1 minute to really push, so it's not really that big of a surprise. But now it'll be up to the side of Pale Goldenrod to see if they're able to complete this map, bring it to a 3rd game in this series, or if they're going to force it to overtime.
Man, if they can get past the draw, force that 3rd game, I feel like it would just be in line with every other match that we've seen today. Just an incredibly close series overall, and they've got a great opportunity here to try and take a map, force this 3rd game. With Aang playing Torbjorn again on the defense, it didn't actually work out great for them last time. So I'm curious why they chose to go this way again with the solo healer. Numbani really is just an anomaly with how different the first point is compared to every other hybrid map. Just the high ground being on both sides really tends to trip out these teams, and really, like, you see that top left attack or dive every single time as a result. It's kind of interesting how it's kind of just funneled down to these 2 strategies every single time.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like, you know, ex-ROX running a little bit of an interesting composition, running once again having that Torbjorn on there. I think they really prioritize it, but they either do run one or the other, either Symmetra or Torbjorn, depending on, I think, the map and the composition that they think they will be playing up against. So you know what, we're going to see if Pale Goldenrod will be able to get this first push, jumping on with Ditz right now, who needs to be the better soldier in this competition. Nalar, you know, has been super strong in terms of playing soldier conflicts, but Ditz has more time on the clock. He'll be able to spend more time picking the shots and picking the angles he specifically wants to go, and it looks like they will be going to the upper ledge push.
As, yeah, they take the high hallway once again. It's almost always just a Rhine shield battle to get started. Roadhog's working away at the enemy shield. Whichever Rhine flinches first usually dies. Whoever charges first, that is. The hook actually swings and misses there from Freed. They know there's a Torbjorn and an Ant Soldier on the opposite ledge now. What they do with that information, I'm not really sure. They're going to have to take a lot of free damage as it is, and as the turret falls, so does Dids. Not great here for the offense. Drodo also getting hooked in means this push is basically dead.
Yeah, so that means that they're going to burn down a lot more time on their side. And it just looks like, you know, they keep on trying to force this upper ground push. And this is super hard when the defense knows you're coming there. But it looks like they're more than fine with fighting this out if they can. Nalar will be the man to watch, seeing if they're pushed through the top entrance once again. He's basically trying to use the help of the tanks to help split up the composition on their side. He wants to make sure that they're attacking from 2 separate angles, that they're not looking the same way. And that Reinhardt shield, honestly, just getting traded down for free. There's not a lot they can realistically do. Drodo's shield is actually going down. They don't have an immediate answer to the Torbjorn on the far side of there, so they're trying to find a way to deal with it right now. And this is going to be a 2-prong attack. They're going to try going from a lower ledge and then force it to go on the upper ledge. They are waiting, and I think they want to be waiting for a few of their ultimates. At the same time, Nalar forcing Drodo to change his shield direction. He's forcing him to back up. He has not advanced out there yet, and Drodo immediately goes down, and this is so hard for them. They just have not have any luck whatsoever. Dids, yes, does get out to do some more damage, but Dids will be going down despite trading for Freed. And I think that if you're on the side of ex-ROX, you're more than happy right now. You're willing to take these trades.
Yeah, that was just not a great decision, man. Roadhog and Zarya hanging off on the side like that, it's so much harder to get hooks from low ground onto high ground now. They're a complete disadvantage trying to attack like that, but they honestly just don't have a way to deal with Soldier and Torb being on the opposite side. They still haven't switched to Winston or D.Va to try and address that. They're going the lower hallway this time around. They're going to say, to hell with the Rhine battle, we're just going to step on the point, force them to come to us. The problem is they don't have the range really to deal with Torb and a Soldier over there, so they have to win the close range fight against Reinhardt and D.Va. Tijao loses his suit there very quickly to get us started. Earthshatter comes out and doesn't hit anything, unfortunately, for ex-ROX. There's a Graviton Surge. Earthshatter also whiffs. Whole Hog comes out from the side of Freed, and Molting 4 is a ton of damage coming out from the side of the defense. Only 1 minute left, and losing a couple of people already on the attacking side means that this push is done. Drodo and the rest of the team need to just die now so that they have a full push saved up. Basically, the amount of time they have left, there's only 50 seconds, so it has to be one and done or a draw.
Yeah, and this gotta be super frustrating on either side right now. They were just trying to get through this, but they're still trying to push through the same chokehold, which is not a great answer for this. And it looks like the side of Ung will be getting his level 2 turret in addition to that, so we can show how hard it is to really deal with, especially when you're trying to attack from 2 separate angles. And luckily they have brought the D.Va. They know that the D.Va could be a good answer to this, getting into the face a lot of the damage dealers. It would, in a way, help them a lot for this. And Sato, meanwhile, trying to do as much as he can with the whole hog, pushing people back, but unfortunately he's just hitting it right into defense matrix. Will take down Claws, take down Claws, and Soto himself trying to do as much as he can, but Chi Xiao with that D.Va bomb does take down Dids and is able to knock them out of the mech. Only 3 seconds left on the clock, and right now they're trying to take down Shu. Shu's trying to stall at this point as much as he can. Shu will go down, and yeah, it looks like we're going straight to a tiebreak.
All right, so tiebreaker again. It's going to be a BO3 on a control map. I believe it's Lijiang Tower for upper bracket.
Yes, I do think. Let me just check.
And Nepal for lower bracket.
Yeah, let me just make sure. Yep, upper bracket will be Lijiang Tower for the tiebreak. So we're going to a best of 3 Koth map for our tiebreaker. So Lijiang Tower will be that next choice that we will see. And I mean, this has just gone super back and forth. I mean, defensively, it just seems like Numbani, once you get that lockdown, once you have that mental ability to realize, okay, we know where they're going to come from, we know where we need to go. I think that's always something that's it makes it easier to defend when you have those intentions. But the fact that they were splitting Drodo, they're making Drodo face in several different directions. You can't put a shield up to protect yourself from the threat from afar, as well as protecting the team behind you. So very good job making him choose one, and unfortunately punishing him for the fact that he couldn't choose either and was super indecisive.
Looks like Aang from the ex-ROX squad is asking for just a 3-minute break, but we can hang out or not, doesn't matter. Welcome everybody, 2,100 viewers right now here for the StriveWire monthly Brawl, also sponsored by Nuki and by, what was the name of that team?
Phoenix.gg.
Phoenix.gg, and I think they're pretty much brand new. You can follow them at PhoenixGG on Twitter as well. But thanks to all the sponsors for running this tournament and actually giving us a good glimpse at some EU tournament teams. Finally, I think the $5,000 cup that took place this last week in Paris, the extra cup, was a good look, but now we actually have a lot of teams battling it out here, 16 teams online for our entertainment, and we've seen a lot of great matches so far. Pale Goldenrod and ex-ROX going the distance here again, essentially with a tie there on Numbani. Still could be a scoreline of 2-0, but they're battling it out very closely with each other every single map.
Yeah, and this is going to be oftentimes a little bit tough on both of these sides, because now they're bringing it onto a Koth map. You have to kind of change the way that you've been thinking, right? You've been using this intention to say, okay, well, we have all these setups, we have all these great defensive maneuvers we have. Now you have to apply that to a King of the Hill map, so it's going to test which team is better, either coordination-wise, and also, if you guys have one player who's very strong at a deathmatch and can take all these one-on-one fights, it's going to be extremely useful as well. Lijiang Tower has opened a lot of different availability for different champions. We have seen Pharah being used. We have seen some Sombra being used as well. So there's a lot of variation that potentially can occur on this. Plus, it's only a best of 3, so you're going to see each of those maps at once. So you can use a one-and-done strategy like running Sombra on Command Center, because you know that, hey, they might not be able to counter it the next time it comes around.
Yeah, who knows? Lijiang does give you a lot of variety, just the fact that there's environmental kill potential on some points. Roadhog and Pharah really shine, Lucio really shines, and then Control Center itself is just kind of a different, micro battleground itself. But as we're waiting for the players to get back, I just, again, want to thank everyone for coming to watch the stream today. We will be back again tomorrow, also at, I believe, 4 p.m. Central European time. That's 7 a.m. Pacific, so I'll wake up bright and early once again. But yeah, there's more games tomorrow. It's the 8 teams that actually make the playoffs, and we'll just give you a little idea of what to expect tomorrow. We already had groups A and B play out completely as our first groups of the day, and for the group that we cast, it was Gamers Origin and Grand Danois getting past Nerd Rage and who else was it?
LDLC.
LDLC, yes. LDLC failed to get through that group, and then in the other one, it was actually the Chavs and OW.QQ. OW.QQ, full Polish team that I have never seen play before, so that's pretty interesting as well. Bonkers did not quite make it out of that group. Yeah. Or Solar.
Ooh, and it's interesting as well. In Group C, we have Dignitas taking a 2-0 victory over alternate to qualify for the playoffs tomorrow. They did not drop a single game in that aspect. But yeah, I think honestly this is pretty interesting for Group C. I'm actually very excited to see what the result is. Sedota, obviously a very strong team as well, will be facing against alternate. And now I think we don't really have an update on the Oslo Lion versus ex-Reunited game, but let me know in chat how that one's going. If it's happening, maybe they're waiting for it to be on stream. Who knows? But I hope not. I hope they're getting ready to play.
Yeah, it looks like everyone in our game at least is here. Caster's ready, Aang's ready. I saw Dreft actually say ready earlier for that team. Shu says it again just for good luck. And we will continue on here. Lijiang Tower, again, just a tiebreaker here. So only best of 3 rounds in Lijiang Tower will determine who wins game number 2, which is Numbani originally. So if we run only 2 rounds and we have a winner, that is the reason why. It's just a tiebreaker. So far, ex-ROX is already up 1-0 in the series. So if ex-ROX win the tiebreaker, they will be the group winners.
Yeah, and this is definitely exciting because we are on command center. So if anyone does want to run that potential Sombra, you can. But however, this is gonna yield itself more to seeing more tracers in this map. Being able to dodge and weave through your tank line is essentially important. That's gonna be what this battle ends up being, and they are gonna be running what looks like mirrored compositions, and I don't think they're going to change. I think they're comfortable the way they are, but it's all going to be about which tracer is more dominant, which tracer is able to get into the opponent's heads a lot more, force the opponents to turn around, force the opponents to think, hey, where is Nalor or where is Ditz in the background, and force them to look for you. That way they pay less attention to the threats that are in front of you or even the supports in front of you. So will be good to see both, and both will be running Reinhardt's as well, so that Earthshatter or double Earthshatter competition will be still on the table.
It's a full mirror comp across the board here. 3 tanks on each side looking for those huge CC ultimates from Zarya and Reinhardt. And Roadhog, of course, has that instant kill potential. He's just like a fat DPS. Roadhog catches a bio nade. I don't expect him to live for very long, but he actually charged past basically everyone. He does fall after Tijao on the other side. So 5v5 battle ensuing here. Soodle hits the hook on Nalar, but gets denied through the Rhine shield. It looked like LOS broke or something like that. But Soodle just trying to stay alive now. On the point itself is actually completely ex-ROX, so they managed to take the point first.
Yeah, Pseudo taking down Nalar is obviously big news, but Daker in the background trying to do as much as he can, trying to take down his enemy, his opposing Ana, will take it down, so they should have enough healing, but it looks like the side of Pale Goldenrod just able to funnel in so much more damage, and it looks like everyone from ex-ROX is being pushed off of the point. They're just not able to fight this immediately. Nalar will take down Drep, but I think, actually, yeah, no, the side of ROX actually managed to cap during this period, so they're still taking up. So all they do is just stall on this point, but it looks like Pale Goldenrod will be taking it back. I mean, 29% is not bad for a first push, but quite a few ultimates will be online eventually. Pale Goldenrod setting up and trying to figure out how they want to defend this specific chokehold.
Yeah, good moves there from Nalar, just extending their lead from about 18 or 19% all the way up to 29% with one measly little tracer life, so able to just squeeze every drop out of that first point. Now that they're pushing back in here, they do have Pulse Bomb to work with. May want to wait actually for Graviton Surge. Nano Boost comes out on both sides though, Claws and Drodo both having a Nano Rhine pool. Normally you don't want to go after the Nano targets, you just want to cleave apart the squishies that are nearby, but in this case it ends up paying off there as Claws bites the dust, so does Tijao, and they will continue to tick up there. 40% now for the Pale Goldenrod guys, still 0-0 overall, so Claws and the rest of the group trying to break in and prevent this from oh no, actually Roadhog gets hooked off the right side. Soodle gets a free kill there to start off.
Yeah, and this is just going to stall them out a little more. Pale Goldenrod now has more ultimates. Actually, no, they actually same amount of ultimates, and in fact, that will tip to the other side soon enough. ex-ROX will be getting that whole hog soon enough. But Drodo playing on the flank side, playing on the edge, making sure that it's a big deal, and that Grab and Search keeps everyone in together just as the whole hog gets used to push out. So now they're pushing ex-ROX away from the point. They want to contest as much as they can, but ex-ROX has somehow managed to convert this damage. Fritz was also using his whole hog and has been able to use it to his advantage, and T-Shao able to stay alive with the shield, now up to 86% on the energy charge. Ditz able to trade them out, but luckily for them, the side of ex-ROX more than happy to take that trade. If all the deal left with is a squishy, they will be able to flip before the percentage hits 90, so they have, I think, around maybe two chances, if not one chance, to contest it in case the point does flip back over. Now they are trying to stabilize. Nalar on going to be on the side, trying to see if anyone pokes their head up. And yes, we'll be working with Free to make sure they can get some easy kills. He does blink out of the way to make sure that he doesn't get thrown off. A great hook, and this is all gonna be in the background. Sebastian trying to do as much as he can, will stay alive, but Drodo in the meantime still a threat on the front. Lands a great Earthshatter, taking care of 2 people, and now Close trying to do as much as he can, trying to back off and fight this fight. But Drodo will charge in. It's fine. He misses it. He will only get slapped. But Dicker right now sitting there and will punish them as well. The ex-ROX squad actually, playing this fight very, very safely and able to sustain as much as they can, despite the fact they don't really have a lot of damage. Pulse Bomb does take down Drev, and Free takes down Sebastian as well, meaning the healers aren't there. ex-ROX somehow managed to maintain this push, and right now the side uphill Goldenrod actually might get a little staggered. They actually ended up taking this loss in a very inconsistent manner, meaning that they lost a bunch of people early on in the fight, and because they were trickling very slowly, they were punished for it and never able to fully group. However, they will be fully grouped just as ex-ROX hits 91% on the board.
I want to give props to Claus there, actually surviving a 3v1 as Reinhardt. Oh, Tijao getting hooked immediately, but the sound barrier keeps him alive. Bullhog comes out for the side of the red team here. That's Pale Goldenrod, actually getting a lot of damage into the supports, but not finding the kills that they're looking for. Sebastian and Dref are going to be the first ones down on the side of PGR. Graviton Surge comes out. There's a Pulse Bomb as well, but it's going to be Claus and company staying alive, 99%, as Dids falls. So do their hopes of this first point, and it's going to be ex-ROX again showing their skills on these control maps. Actually have been kind of their best performances of the day in the previous series and in this one. So Lijiang Tower kind of rough for a tiebreaker for Pale Goldenrod, but they need to battle back now and win both points if they want to keep the series alive. Otherwise, ex-ROX, if they can just win one more round here on Lijiang, they will win.
Yeah, and this is going to be honestly a little tough for them to come back on, because they have to win 2 consecutive maps in order to make sure they can even bring it to a game 3 at all. But ex-ROX seems to have a couple of answers. Now, no one is running the fair, so we're not going to see that air dominance. We're not going to see that presence at all. We are going to see more of a very, scrappy style of play from. Actually, no, Dids does change over last second, so Dids will be running the fair, and he hopes to kind of make sure that, hey, if they didn't switch their team composition, they have no hit scan to deal with me, and Dids is in the air right now, and he's going to see if he can knock them off. And luckily, Reinhardt able to drift a little bit, so he doesn't get knocked off the main site, so Dids will not have any accuracy for that. But Claus does charge in and has been now displaced by the rest of his team, which is not a great move. Your teams can't follow up for you in particular, but Dids now on site, trying to do as much as he can in the background. However, right now for ex-ROX, T-Zao, who are now jumping onto, able to use that shield to do as much as he can. 76% charge. Dids is super low right now. If he can take it down, this would be great on their end, but he's just trying to dodge around the pillar. And right now, ex-ROX trying to find a way to sustain this fight, but they're not able to. The side of Pale Goldenrod getting a lot of really strong hooks and using this to their advantage. They've been able to capture the point and should be able to convert it to percentage.
Man, they killed so many members of ex-ROX there before actually getting the point active. It was a pretty long stretch there, but now they're forced to fully regroup anyway, so not really sure what it is, earned them in the long run. We've got ults already basically finished here for Claus and Tijao getting very high up there on the Graviton Surge. Sebastian on the other side about to have a nano boost, so we could see some ults start to fly already. Claus getting up in the front, needs to kind of jump past Reinhardt. If he's going to hit that shatter, he does exactly that. Finds Zarya. Easy kill there onto Dref, but Tijao's also down, so is Frodo. So ex-ROX actually have more members standing. Claws down to only like 2 HP. Nano Boost comes out on Dids Farah. He has Barrage available, he lets it loose while he's still Nano Boosted, but does not get the kills that he's looking for. He barely breaks through Claus' shield and can't finish the job. So it's going to be a flip point now. ex-ROX taking their first couple of percentage here on card.
Yeah, and this is good news for the side of ex-ROX. They have been able to bait out a lot of their ultimates. That Rocket Barrage was not extremely effective. It left a lot of like low health people on the side of ex-ROX, but now they're being able to hold it relatively well. That Earthshatter catches multiple threats there, but however, Drodo does get slept, so not able to convert immediately. But Claus, however, is able to get that nano boost and will be running in, trying to do as much damage as he can. Close does go down as well. Now he's just chasing down the Lucio. Shu goes down in addition with that Earthshatter now online. This hold is becoming much harder for the side of Pale Goldenrod to break, because now they have to break through so many different ultimates, and not to forget, there is that Graviton Surge, which can be fired to stop any movement at all, combined with the Big Bang. That is a great combination that can be used and potentially used here to divide up the team and force them to pick one option or another.
Here comes the Graviton Surge immediately. Nalar is there, but has no one to really shoot at. Drops the Pulse Bomb on the other side. There he does find those 3 kills that he's looking for. Shu, Sebastian, and Draft all explode in the Big Bang, and it's an easy cleanup from there. 60%, should be up to 70, 75% before the next fight even begins. Dids, I'm looking for him to actually land some rockets. He has not been as effective as Aiko was in earlier series, for example, and he will have Barrage pretty much ready to go for this battle. Earthshatter from Claws, again, could be a game changer if they just happen to lay flat the right people and get those kills. This fight and this map could be over.
Yeah, and the Earthshatter does catch a few people, but maybe not the ones they wanted. However, they will be trading Reinhardt's right now. Claws in the background, just doing it. But unfortunately, because of that charge, not able to stop Dids. But it doesn't even matter. Dids can't even get any kills with his Rocket Barrage at all. And now the side of ex-ROX able to regroup back together. And now they are pushing their advantage. They recognize we only have 93% left on the clock. Close somehow manages to live despite being flung back. Takes down Drodo, which is another big surprise. And only 99% left on the clock. It will take over. And ex-ROX claims a tiebreaker, going up 2-0, and now have won the match against Pale Goldenrod. They will be qualified for the playoffs tomorrow. Unfortunately, the side of Pale Goldenrod will be dropping down to the consolation final.
Yeah, all they've got to do is be united again, right? So we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. Actually, do we know if Reunited took out Oslo Lion?
Not yet. I'm not entirely sure yet. But that is huge on their side. Good job from ex-ROX. Honestly, that did not look great. They've done so much to get to here, meaning that Numbani, they had to stop basically a 3-minute 40-second push from the side of Pale Goldenrod just to stay in the game, and then they brought it back to OT, the tiebreak on Lijiang Tower. And even though the first game looked like they were down immensely in Command Center, they were able to bring it back and out here on Garden just seemed to be very decisive as well. So congratulations to ex-ROX advancing on, and meanwhile Pale Goldenrod awaiting their opponents from the lower side bracket, and hopefully we can figure out who that is.
Yeah, a couple of long series there for ex-ROX, but they do prove in the end that they are the best in the group, taking out Pale Goldenrod and Oslo Lions before that. So the losers match is the other match that was going on while we were in this one. That's ex-Reunited versus Oslo Lions, and it looks like we don't have a stream on that, so I'm not really sure what the results are at right now. If I take a look at my friends list, I see Morte is in the lobby of a custom game, so I'll just ask him, how is your match going?
And just to make sure that we're checking out how they're going, of course, we can always check the brackets out. But for everyone who's joining us, thank you guys so much for hanging out. This is the StriveWire monthly Brawl, sponsored by StriveWire, which is our title sponsor, as well as Phoenix.gg, and of course Nookie, who has been doing the tournament organizing as well as adding to the prize pool as well. This is I guess one of the major European tournaments that we will be seeing. I think this is one of the most recent ones. I think this is the biggest one besides Extra Cup that happened, like I think last week or whatever. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm ScribeOW, and with me is my co-caster Ask Josh here. We're just kind of hanging out right now. This next match should be our last game of the day as we cover the final consolation brackets, figure out the last team who will finally make it to our playoffs tomorrow. Currently, I think our playoff teams out of 8 currently are Chavs, OW.QQ, I believe Gamers Origin, and Grand Denois, as well as Dignitas, and I want to see if the game is done between Alternate and Sedodia, so we can see who has gone on from that side. But we just saw ex-ROX advancing to the final, advancing to the playoffs as well tomorrow. So we are waiting on 2 teams. The games that we will be waiting on to finish, and it looks like Reunited
did win. Yep. So I just got done talking to Mort there, let him know that Pale Goldenrod is up next. So they should be meeting on the back end of the GosuGamers and StriveWire backend, so they can get their map drafts and things like that. So probably only going to be a couple of minutes here until we progress on to the final match of the day. Just one BO3 left in today's games.
Yeah, and this is just, honestly, this is exhausting so far. We've been live for